So I invite you to do a short meditation before we start some sharing. So if you want to close your eyes and forget about the screen, I will keep my eyes open so I can keep letting people in, but my invitation is for you to close your eyes and forget for a short while about the technology. Allowing the silence to be present, regardless if there's any noise in that room, next door, outside. You can invite the noise, but become very centered in it. You see the noise as something external. It can be the same for the noise in your mind. You might be having little comments or opinions. You might be engaged in an unconscious loop. Whatever is going on, my invitation is for you to allow it to be there. And I invite you to tune in with the temperature of the room where you are, the temperature inside you, the feeling of your clothes against your the temperature of your skin, maybe your hair over your skin, the taste of your saliva inside your mouth, the feeling of the sense of smell, and inviting a slower pace inside you. It's like we are co-creating this external environment that it's also penetrating the internal environment, and the internal environment is also having an impact on the external. So it's like there's a biofeedback between the internal and the external, where you command for everything to slow down. You might be feeling some emotions that you might have been carrying for the whole day, for a few days, and that's okay. But you allow them to be satellites to you. You position yourself in the center of your experience. You become aware that the pelvis and the tailbone are connected to the earth and that the crown is connected to the heaven. The earth is magnetic and the heaven is electric. It's like a battery, the negative below and the positive above. So acknowledging this quality of a battery that our body has. Opening the back of the neck so the chin goes slightly in. And if there's any chattering of the mind, that chattering is happening outside of your center. You remain connected to the center. Anything could be going on in your mind, in the room, outside, but you keep connected to that center. And you give permission for everything to be. You don't wish for the mind to be quieter. You don't wish for the circumstances to be any different, regardless of any discomfort or any anxiety or any excitement. You remain connected to the center. And imagine, feel, visualize that this center is neutral. And you might not know what I mean, and that's fine. You imagine you did. You are like the central sun, and the planets, the star, everything revolves around you. And you learn to be like the sun, who keeps radiating regardless of anything else. Here we practice the same. Noise, temperature, essence, thoughts, emotions, everything can be all around you, but you keep connecting to the central point. And I invite you to locate that center point below the navel. Breathing in that place. That is like the center of the nervous system. It's a plexus of nerves. And I invite you to breathe into it, in and out, so you consciously activate it now. Inviting this silence around you to become a very strong part of your experience right now. To befriend this silence so you can call it in any moment. And imagine this silence aligns with your mind and with your soul. and your body is inside your mind and your soul. So it's like we are co-creating a field, whether you are here or watching this later, and this field is aligning us with each other, aligning the soul and the mind with the body. And let's use color. So imagine a whole sphere around the body. And that sphere, because it's a safe space, can be big. When we need a lot of protection, sometimes we do, we put it close to us, close to the body. But now, for the sake of playing a little and experimenting, make it big. And see the color inside. I invite you to see what color comes to mind. Some people cannot see colors, that's okay. Green is for healing. Violet is the color of the crown. It's a very purifying and high vibrational color. And you can just say violet, 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 or green, 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 if your mind cannot see colors. So one quality of visioning and healing is that you don't get stuck, you become very creative. So never let anything to get on your way. You don't see color, you name the color. And again, imagine we are all sitting in a circle inside of our quantum bubble of light, and then the whole circle is integrated inside a big hollow quantum bubble of light, color violet, that goes deep in the earth and up in the sky. Below, earth, negative pole, magnetic. We connect with the pulse of the heart of the planet. Above, electric, masculine, heavenly. We connect with the pulse of the center of the galaxy. And here we are between heaven and earth, between mother and father energies, between magnetic and electric, between feminine and masculine, in this polar reality, becoming more centered, more neutral, aligning with the soul, aligning with the higher mind, in a circle, which is very powerful to do together, connecting beyond time and space. In this meeting, in this healing. So this process is for the highest good, the highest truth, and the highest healing. And now I invite you to clap your hands and rub the hands together, creating a lot of heat. A lot of heat. And putting your hands on your forehead and the temples. That's touching something that is called the prefrontal cortex. That takes 30 years to be finished in our bodies. So imagine allowing with this touching more blood flow to come in. Your head rests on your hands. And I invite you to inhale deeply and exhale through the mouth. With a bit of sound is always very good. And separating the hands, looking at the lines. It's always very grounding to finish a meditation and look at the palms of the hands. It anchors us into the present. And we join them together and we bow down at each other as a sign of respect. Welcome. Very nice to see you. And ritual silence and meditation. We are going to go through that a little bit. So we are on the same page before the future course. And because I believe it's important, it's a very important subject, especially these days. When we are doing deep healing, like most of us are, and we are kind of cleansing any emotional stress and ancestral debris from our system, resting, sleeping, meditating is a must, because the body and the mind need time to metamorphose and to move into this being that is Alice, or that is Carmen, or that is Jen, and come into this new level of expression. If there's no rest, quality sleep, quality silence, the disorder, the stress, the everything doesn't let anything happen. Okay? So, in order to move into new timelines where we are more in prosperity, where we are more expansive, where we have the capacity to face challenges and problems in a new way, this ritual silence, this meditation, this resting is not really just an option. It's a real must. And I want to bring you a few ideas and insights that you might know, you might not. You might not know, but the idea is to enrich your everyday life so you can bring richness, wealth, abundance, in the biggest sense of the word. You might be focused in different areas of your life, no? Maybe your professional expansion, maybe taking your health to the next level. When I mean health, it could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be mental. No, I think that's a common thread. It might be many things, no, that you are focused and looking for. But if we all take a common ground, what as humanity is going through the eye of the needle and moving into a new reality, so are we individually. And the nervous system needs to come with us. Is how we operate. We cannot dismiss the body and the nervous system and think it's just a matter of logic of our minds to moving into the next stage. So there's a lot of confusion because there's a lot of noise and a lot of ideas about what are emotions. Emotions are data, and there are no such things as good emotions and bad emotions. It all really depends on the environment and the relationship with that emotion. There's, I think it's 455 words that English language have for different emotions. Then some people classify as in families, no? The ones with anger, the ones with fear, the ones with love. But as I've studied with the Buddhist, the idea is that the richness is in feeling all the emotions. The point is not to feel emotions. There are no such things as bad emotions. Anger is not good or bad. What can become a problem is when there's repressed anger. Sadness is not a bad emotion. It can be so rich, but when it's repressed and we lurk in there, it can be very detrimental. And the same as fear. I know a little girl who had a problem with her amygdala, a problem in her brain, age 14, and something happens in the amygdala that she cannot feel any fear. So it's very, very dangerous for her to be without supervision. Yes, so you see that fear is, it fulfills a purpose. The whole thing is when we just live in fear, we just live in anger, or we might not even know that we live, but it's so deeply suppressed. So the practices, for example, that we've been doing with surrendering is not about denying those emotions. It's about allowing them to be, but understanding that we cannot live in battlefields inside of us and outside of us. To live in a battlefield is very draining. And that's what most of us live in, with our past, with our present lives, with certain people, with certain events. So what we are working with is acknowledging that things happen and this is our present, and we stop the fight. And of course, when we do that consciously, sometimes those repressed emotions come very strongly. I remember the first time ever I worked deeply with surrender, I had a fight on the beach because a woman was burying the shed of her dog in the middle of the beach. And I was so angry because for me, the beach is like a sacred shrine. But I was so angry. And she got all the anger I had at people who disrespect certain things. And I was in shock of myself because I wasn't, I wasn't ready for what was going to happen, what was happening through me. And I really understood, that I was so angry at certain things and that I had been repressing that anger with a certain patterns and certain type of events and people. And I had to allow it. Other people, feel disgust, can feel sick about certain attitudes. And that sickness can come out. And that is very good. Because when you feel disgust about something, it goes into the pancreas. It's connected to insulin, according to Hammer and Germanic medicine. Everything I speak about has a background. So that disgust, that that you might feel, is very good that it comes out because it's healing the pancreas. You see, pancreatic issues, according to Hammer, Hammer is Hammer. He was the father of Germanic medicine. He proved, and he even was imprisoned for that, of the link of our emotional world and our illnesses. And it's difficult to read, but it's fascinating. So that was between brackets, yeah. And these emotions can come out and they are totally valid, because what I have felt inside me, and I've noticed with others, when these emotions are repressed, especially if you are a very nice person that might not show strong emotions and might repressed, is that these emotions can become very corrosive and can eat you inside, can really eat you up. So are we demonizing the emotion? No. What we are doing is acknowledging, wow, I'm so angry at this. I'm giving up this fight, and this anger is coming, and I'm still like, I don't want to surrender, and this and that, and that's totally fine. But I give a space to stop having so many battlefields that drain my energy, drain my mental grounds, and interfere with my best possible destiny. There's the law of free will. That's why it gets repeated over and over. This is an adult's choice. It's an adult choice. And it's not easy. It's not easy to live by something where you are like, wow. Because the other day, I never listened just to radio with publicity. And the other day, my phone went off and the radio came in, and it was, we start a new season of the battle against cancer, no? I was like, oh, wow. You know, we have this thing of battles against things, against cancer, against the other, against that. Something happened. Whose fault is this? It's not my fault. And there are battlegrounds. And then what happens? There are the winners of the battle. I won my war against cancer. And then there are the losers, or there are the winners, and then they lose again. And it's more dramatic, that minefield, than the illness itself. And it's self-created. It's a narrative that is corrosive. So these battlefields, in the new Aquarian age, the invitation is to not buy into them, to not condone behaviors that are appalling, to not justify them. Of course not. But it's about, am I going to be engaged in what happened 50 years ago with my mother? I need to resolve this. I need to resolve it so I can liberate this woman from the expectations, and I can truly see her, and I can truly get the prosperity and the abundance that comes from this. Whoever doesn't want to, for sure. But I think I've seen it working in me. I've seen it working in others, that the corrosive energies of battlefields and of war needs to end. And of course, it's a process. It's a process. And it's not about, oh, it's right, I love it. No. It's about, wow, I, as an adult, surrender. Within that process, silence needs to be part of it. It needs to. The sleep needs to, because the mind needs to be rewired. Because there's a hormonal, we are hormones. So there's a hormonal wiring of cortisol, dopamine, adrenaline, in those words. In some cases, chronic stress. So rewiring means that I am creating a new relationship with my hormonal reality. And I'm creating oxytocin and dopamine in the right levels. I'm working with endorphins, and I am not doing it from a place of bypassing. I'm doing it as an adult that wants to enjoy life truly and get people off the shackles of my archaic love, so I can really be free from realities and narratives that bound me to some hellish places. So, and there are tricks. This is not a matter of will. This is more a matter of choice, and from that choice, the paths open. Because some paths cannot open if we are in those words. And those paths are more aligned with your new mindset. So one magic tool, super simple, is this one. This is hematite. This is iron. Okay? Iron is connected to the root chakra. Iron is magnetizing, is connected to Mars. This is a stone that is good for everyone, included people with mental illnesses, because mental illnesses cannot be from the heart chakra up. Is not good, for example, for schizophrenics or bipolar people to use crystals that work at this level. But hematite can, yes? And hematite is full of, it's mineral. It hasn't got crystals, it's mineral. And what it does is that it grounds us. This is something that if you work with others, you should have in your pockets and touch it. And you should have maybe two, one for each hand, and work with them too. You are working with someone who is off their heads and might be totally dissociated, to give them a couple of these to hold while you are doing it. That's brilliant. And while you are working with them, because that is connecting people and connecting us to the ground. I'm planning a trip to Madrid in some months to take people to the Escorial Palace. The Escorial Palace it was built 17th century, and the choice, one of the main choices, is in an incredible energetic telluric placement near Madrid. But what is fascinating is that the forest next to it and all that area is called La Herrería. Hierro, iron, hematite, and there's a lot of electric storm. The reason, because it's very magnetic. It attracts energy into it. You want to work with iron. There's nothing more debilitating than have iron deficiency. Iron is so powerful, so strong. So iron is something you can include, especially if your head goes somewhere else, to come back to the body. And even if you're a very grounded person, I believe in these times, with so much technology communication, hematite is a winner. So this is one. Another one is, well, I don't need to show you, but for the sake of, is rose water. a very good quality rose water for the face. I have one here when I work, and I try to have another one by my bed and another one in the car. And it's something that really brings, it's like, imagine the energetic system when you look, when it's really working, you can see like it's a beautiful tapestry and it's threaded, right? What happens when there's a lot of mental energy, a lot of electrics, computers and stuff, a lot of worries, a lot of energies here, the head can attract a lot of unwanted energies, entities, and stuff. Rose water is a very good tool to have close to you. And the moment you feel something out of line, to spray it. If you work in computers, like you know, I spend a lot of time in computers, it's something that really brings the frequency to a new level. And also, if you wake up and you feel tired or debilitated, and even if you feel good to have it by your bed, it's very nice. If you wake up in the middle of the night because you have problems with cortisol or other, very good to use it. So, speaking about the sleeping, there's studies, that show. I've got the studies for the United States, but I don't think we are very different. There's 40 million people with problems with sleep in the States. 40 million. There's more sleep debt than financial debt. Yeah? There's more accidents in cars connected to tiredness and lack of sleep. It's been proved by Stanford University that it's more dangerous to be deprived of sleep, impair us more sometimes than having alcohol. And this is becoming a norm. It's becoming a norm in our reality. My invitation is to see that the day doesn't start in the morning. The day starts in the night, like the time at 12 o'clock tonight will be tomorrow. So contemplate, no, it's the end of my day, oh my God, and now, no, it's the beginning of the day at night. From 10 to 2 o'clock in the morning is when the body tissues are rewiring, where there's more restoration in the body. It's better to wake up at 2 o'clock and do something in the house than to be up until 2 o'clock in the morning. The sleep is not the same, because here we need to look at quality of sleep. Don't look just hours. Look at quality. And that is crucial for people like us, spiritual practitioners, that are changing and shape-shifting to kind of have the information that we need and the restoration that we need to be able to integrate the changes that we are making. Am I saying go to bed at 10? No, I'm not saying that. Just informing you so we can adapt a little bit our lives so we can thrive better, no? Because of the nature of the times, it's not the same thing as 10 years ago, 3 years ago. We are way more hyper-wired to the matrix, and these little tricks that I'm telling you are to counteract the effects of this, so we don't get hijacked by these forces. Another thing I gave, because I give a lot, I've got my crystals here. No. Oh, yeah. No, I gave my last one away. Is another crystal that is super, super important. That's why I haven't got one, because I keep on giving them when to friends and clients. Is sodalite. Okay? Sodalite. Sodalite. Sodalite is a crystal that helps to align us with the hertz of the planet Earth, which is 7.8. And we are, I think, way above 13.5, which means we are wired to a frequency that is way higher than we normally would be. The sodalite, you can strap it at the time of going to bed with micropore tape, or just use it for, I don't know, for 20 minutes on the third eye. And what it does is that brings the two hemispheres into balance, and those hertz come down. I've got a great story of a friend of mine who is he's a civil engineer, not into quantum healing or into spirituality or into any of this at all. He was having problems with the sleep, and his eyebrows, he was losing his eyebrows and his eyelashes out of the stress. And he started using the sodalite, and that was 5 years ago. He still always has the sodalite close to his bed, because it really brought so much healing, and he could overcome the insomnia that he had. So don't believe me, just try, but very incredible crystal. This one is a crystal, yeah? And no, sorry, that one is a mineral. When it's a mineral, like the hematite, the way you cleanse them is under the water, under the tap water. You just put it, no sun. They don't need the sun. They just need the water. A lot of water underneath. You just put your hand, off you go, and you cleanse it once a week. It's fine, okay? And this one, great for children, for them to have in their pockets, for us, sodalite to have on your bedside table, rose water the same. And oh yes, how do you write it? Sodalite, 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 okay? I will write it here. Sodalite. So yes, so those three things, I've been using it for years. I swear by it. They work, and they are very healing, and very good things to give to friends and family. People, you'd be surprised how open they are to use things when they are desperate, no? When they cannot really sleep, when they have a lot of turmoil. And given the times we are in, I think for all of us. So I brought you, this is only 2 minutes. This is Nightingale. This was a lecture 40 years ago, and it's still very relevant for all of us. I'm gonna play it for you.
On my last program, I mentioned that creative people who are through the use of their imagination would probably not work for more than 4 to 6 hours a day if they want to sustain their best possible production. That's because leisure time is as important to the creative person That's the time he spends actively engaged in whatever it is he does. All of us can, if we desire, tap an unsuspected source of pure energy and creative power. This source, fully adequate and freely available, is our silent partner, the subconscious mind. So wrote John K. Williams more than 20 years ago, and it's absolutely true. By correctly using this potential, which is our subconscious mind, we can gain relief from tension and frustration and have at our disposal abundant energy and new mental power and physical well-being. These things we gain without striving. There's no laborious routine to follow. We simply recognize our subconscious mind and permit it to function under proper conditions. If you observe the working habits of leaders in virtually any field, you'll find that important discoveries are seldom made while engaged actively in research investigation. New insights, bold ideas, and plans are contributed by the underlying activity of mind, the subconscious function. Just about all great scientists, artists, writers, musicians, top-flight business people will tell you that their best ideas come not while they're actively engaged in seeking them, but as the French mathematician Henri Poincaré put it, creative ideas do not come to me when I'm working at my desk, but actually flash into my head while I'm engaged in other activities. I found this to be generally true of the great people whose lives I've studied. The most momentous concept of this age, the relationship of time and space and the nature of reality, sprang into the mind of Albert Einstein while he was confined to his bed because of illness. Who can say, but for this period of enforced quiet and relaxation he had to undergo because of the illness, that this world may not have been in the atomic age, good or bad, depending on how you look at it. Certainly good over the long haul if we can make it through our ridiculous and childish crises. The subconscious area of the mind, which no one understands, is an unplumbed reservoir of creative insight and intuition. Lewis Thomas, in his marvelous book, The Lives of a Cell, talks about the new computers that are almost human. In some respects, they're superhuman and can memorize whole telephone books at a glance. But even when technology succeeds in manufacturing a computer's biggest touches to do everything we recognize as human, to match what we do, there would have to be 3 billion of them or more coming down the assembly line. And they would still fall short of what any person on the street can do with the most miraculous agency able to appear on this planet. That's human life. But very few, unfortunately, learn how to properly use it, how to harness its great power, to put it to work so that they can solve their problems and reach their goals with their leisure time. Not make a way to live. We all have problems, most of which we can solve ourselves by bringing to bear very latent and unused mental powers. As Bovee put it, few minds wear out, most rust out.
Well, what happens is the first he speaks very fast. And second, for not English speakers, I think it can be because he's quite fast. And I think quite fast anyway, because I believe people processed faster in the past. But I will resume it to you and I will send it as well. What he's saying is that creative people shouldn't work more than 4 to 6 hours a day. And the rest of the time, they should spend the same amount of time in leisure time. Because what he is talking about, and he refers to Einstein, is that the human mind needs the subconscious mind to access a whole reservoir of magnificent depths of ideas and resources. So when Einstein discovered the theory of relativity, he was in bed with very bad flu, and he was enforced to just be resting. And this theory came out of that flu. In fact, he spoke lengthily about it because he hardly ever went to classes or anything because he spent lengthy times in nature. What he's saying is that it's very, very important to spend leisure time as much as working. Stephen King, Steven Spielberg, many people with great minds, they say exactly the same. They look for their ideas, for their inspiration when they are cycling, when they are painting, when they are engaged into other type of activities. So this is very important. He refers also to the importance of meeting the challenges in that subconscious mind. And he refers how, imagine this was 40 years ago, not machine could equate the grandiosity of the human mind to be creative. This is being challenged by our lifestyles these days. And I just want to invite you for some reflection here, no? Imagine you spend the same amount of time working than in leisure time. And that leisure time contemplated this ritual silence that I'm talking about. And you looked for your answers, you looked for your solutions in those places. It's like when I always invite you before going to bed to do that smiling and to connect with the energy of the higher intelligence. What we are doing is connecting to that subconscious mind, connecting to that essence. And that's where there's a wealth of information, there's a wealth of possibilities, there's a wealth of new paths that can open. So the last thing I want to bring you tonight is something that I see a lot these days, that I know very well myself, that is worry. Okay? We are not going to demonize worry. My invitation is that worry and fear shouldn't be in the bedroom. To worry is important. It's not about emotion. To worry is, you have a problem and you search for the answers, you look at the possibilities, you look at how to resolve it. But it's not the place before sleeping, because what happens is that we trigger loads of chemicals that are counterproductive when we sleep. So if you have problems, worries, choose a time of the day where you are going to go into that worry. Choose a place in your home or outside your home where you are going to go there. It shouldn't be your favorite sofa. It shouldn't be your favorite place in the house. And for sure, it shouldn't be the bedroom. Because then when you go into the bedroom and you see the different things, it's just going to trigger the worry. And that's what happens to many people. So the idea is, okay, I have this thing that I need to address. I allocate a time of the day where I'm going to be thinking. I am going to compare my leisure time with my working time, and I'm going to see what is happening there. And the worries, I'm going to take them also to my leisure time where I can be cycling and I can be opening up for ideas, or I can be rowing, or I can be sewing. I can be doing the leisure things that I like to do, but not in the bedroom, not before going to bed. That is kind of a golden rule here. The bedroom should be a place for rest and beauty. And this I've heard from Paramahansa Yogananda, to all my yoga teachers that taught me, to all my Qigong friends. It's a must. I go to bed, and that's why before going to bed, it's very, very good when you are in a crisis or where you have sleeping problems to have a hot shower. A hot shower that you can add the salt to do it a purifying shower, because the body, like the family system, the body is a system that tries to compensate and regulate. So the body is going to look to drop the temperature when you get out so it can rest. So you have that hot shower, the activation of the temperature is gonna be to drop it, and then you will feel sleepy and you will feel ready to really go to bed. And that is a very fantastic trick when you have anxiety problems, worry problems, issues that have overtaken your head, overtaken your mind. You shouldn't overlook them and normalize it. We need to rest, and we need to have quality rest and sleep. Don't normalize that doesn't happen. Don't rely just on supplements or on techniques that include artificial ways. Obviously, I don't need to tell you, blue light, true crime, TV series, all that type of thing is not good for a nervous system. I think you are tired of listening to about that everywhere. I believe what we've shared tonight can be very interesting, to include in our routines and look for a better quality rest, ritual silence, and then to go into meditation when we need it, no? But as I say, a spiritual practitioner that doesn't meditate, doesn't go into ritual silence, then it's very obvious with that high levels of stress will come and people become unable to manage them. And so that's what we are looking. Incorporate ritual silence, silent moments, and leisure time in our lives to allow the system, the intelligence of the body, to do its thing. And what it wants, the body, is to keep us alive. But we are getting out of survival mode and getting into a new stage in reality. So that right now requires to have careful caring, I think, and be very kind to these beautiful bodies we've been given for this very short ride. So that's me for this evening. I would like to open the mic for any questions or any comments that you might have. Anyone? Silence? I cannot see everyone, so if you want to say something, please unmute yourself.
Hi, Sole.
Hello.
Aquí. My camera is not working. First thing I want to say thank to you because it's the topic that is now in my life. I'm really taking care of my sleeping time, everything that you talk here, and I would like to ask about because last 2 days ago I had this paralysis del sueño. This thing sometimes
Sleep paralysis.
paralysis. Sometimes it happens with me all my life. Not every time, but this is usual. And it was really, 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 I don't know, strange. I could see a spirit. I don't know. It was really dark thing. I could, how to say, stop it and wake up. It was super difficult, but I did it. And in my mind, I say something to clean. I don't know. But the question is about when this happens, what we can do.
Well, that's a whole minefield, and I know sleep paralysis can be very scary and debilitating. So, my invitation, we can have even a whole chapter in the new course about it, because I think it's very useful to understand this subject. But my invitation is, when that happens, clear your bedroom, clean sheets, clean the floor, clean yourself, and engage into a practice before going to bed of prayer, meditation, watch what you watch on TV, what you listen, the conversations you engage, and kind of engage in purification at least for a month. A lot of purification of the head. I've shown you different ways that we have in the community. So you clear whatever is happening, no?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Maria. Very important subject. Very good. Thank you. Anyone would like to comment on something? Karen, you are a kinesiologist. Would you like to comment, or maybe you have an extra idea, that's something that popped for you?
When you were saying about the emotions linked to our body, I work with that quite a lot, and I find that really interesting, and it does make a lot of sense. I'm sorry I missed the beginning. I got here a bit late. When you were saying about having those two crystals in your hands, both hematite.
Yeah, both hematite, yes.
And then the other crystal.
Sodalite.
Light to go there.
Exactly. That's independence. This for the daytime, very good. And here, the sodalite in the evening. You can even strap it with micropore tape while you sleep, and then you tell me. But it's incredible.
And I like the idea of 6 hours work and 6 hours of leisure.
Yes, I like that too. Yes. Yeah. And please let us know how that goes.
Yeah.
It's a rewiring, no?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and this guy, Nightingale, whose work I so recommend, he was teaching business people, right? And this is how you will see very high-level business people, men and women, spending loads of time doing leisure things as part of their routines. And I used to think years ago, oh my God, I don't know, I saw it like these people. But then I truly understood through working in this field that it's the way it should be. That's where their creativity in business and everything comes from.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Let's practice, no? Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you, Karen. Carmen, you are a physiotherapist. You would like to share some insights about your clients and their tiredness, or about your own life? You are also a mother, so I'm sure you have some insight.
Yeah, well, I'm also quite tired.
Yeah.
And I've actually been sleeping very well. It's just last night I slept, I don't know, I only slept about 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then got up very early in the morning and had my quiet time.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that you were saying about this showering in the evenings with salt. I also do it in the mornings.
Yes, it's very good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I was just wondering if it's just, well, doesn't matter. Yeah, yeah. Well, I can only say that it's true that so many people are getting or are tired at the moment and have problems sleeping. And it seems to be getting more and more and more. Not only my clients, but also my colleagues that I work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe chronic tiredness is going to be an issue.
Yeah. So for me, it also helps going to the forest and being in nature.
Of course.
What the weather's like. So, yeah. And it's amazing that you were saying this about the rose water because I've been using rose water for about 2 years now. I've been spraying myself with rose water all the time. So I was quite astounded that actually does, yeah, is also one of the remedies. I'm really glad for these things that, yeah, for all these little tools that I can use during my day,
Yes,
I have
yes,
something in my hand. Before I was always, like I'm
yes,
trying and think I'm doing something and I'm doing nothing and but to also notice that sometimes one intuitively also do things that actually, yeah, helps us. Mm. Yeah,
thank you.
thank you so much for your support, and also I find it very helpful to touch base
Yes,
and to just know that you've been part of me, and also, yeah, that we all are on the same path. Everybody his own way. Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, all of you.
Thank you. And one more. Marie, would you like to comment on something with your experience, please? Marie is a homeopath and she's a colon therapist and she's a great healer. So you have experience with people. Would you like to comment on something that we've been talking about tonight, please?
Yeah. I was thinking more for myself, really.
Absolutely, or for
Um,
yourself, whatever feels
and
right.
yeah, I'm just not sleeping very well at all. So this is pretty timely for me. Waking 3 or 4 in the morning, it's definitely connected to perimenopause. Um, so what I'm using as well, the hematite is a really nice reminder for me because I remember holding this a few years ago and literally my body with lead boots hit the ground. I'm really, really sensitive to it. So thank you for bringing that back to my attention because I'm definitely going to get some again. I've been using some, I don't know if you can see these, some really great tuning forks. So I've been using these at night before bed. And I'm using the frequency of which is really beautiful. And trying all of these tools as well to try and help me. Really felt my nervous system this evening when we did that meditation. It was almost, my body dropped into it, and there was literally a shaking within my body. I'm just pretty wired at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, trying to use these. I think also with the lots of the work we're doing at the moment, it's really kind of dumping into my nervous system and my joints.
Uh-huh.
Lots of stuff around my left shoulder, which really makes sense in terms of this female line and all the work that I'm shifting.
Yeah.
So there's a lot happening, but my body's really feeling it at the moment. So this is so timely. Thank you.
Thank
Really,
you. Thank you so
really
much.
great, really practical stuff. I think,
I
which
think
I
so.
really need. I really need. Um, Also, in terms of, I think you mentioned earlier you sent a message about detox symptoms. So lots of chlorella. Obviously, the body is releasing all of this cell from the cells into the body. So I've been taking lots of chlorella and liver herbs. Really
Yes.
great.
What liver herbs would you recommend? Just a mix of bitter herbs?
Yeah, a good Swedish bitter complex is really good.
Yes, I'm gonna go for that because I feel my liver is also releasing the
Absolutely. And
stage
for
of the
me,
work.
there's been lots of this kind of resentment, I guess,
Yes,
anger, all of this stuff has come up. So the liver is really working hard at the moment for me and probably for lots of us.
exactly.
Um, so that's really helpful. Lots and lots of water. It's funny you're taking rose water. I've been using rose water for a few years as well. It's so
Mm.
beautiful, isn't it? Um, but yeah, one thing I'm not doing, and it's like what you're saying, to be a spiritual practitioner, if you're not dedicated to your meditation practice, you're just limping along, aren't you? And I'm
You are
feeling
limping. It's impossible for things to happen without that silence. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, because I feel I haven't given it enough time lately.
Yeah.
Busy, busy, busy. I'm great with the rituals, but sitting still isn't my strong point.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And the lovely idea of the energy that we go to sleep with is the energy that we start the day with.
Exactly.
And it's really something I was really dedicated to before, and I've kind of let it go. But it's so important, isn't it? Just having that really quiet time. A shower is a lovely idea, isn't it? Something.
What did you say?
Just a shower when you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're kind of on the back foot, aren't you? If you're going to bed wired, having watched TV, all of these things that we're all doing.
Yeah. It's understanding very much that we are setting ourselves for something not very good when we bring those worries or fear into the bed. It's like
Yeah.
a matter of saying, no, tomorrow I'll dedicate some time to address this, but I'm not taking this to bed.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Really great.
really great.
Really
I think
practical.
it sounds very simple, but it's just naming it and sharing it.
Mm,
Yes, I think it gives power, don't you think?
for sure. And just because I think we know it, we all know it, we just need reminders.
Yeah.
You've just really just so many kind of, oh yeah, of course, of course, of course, so many moments this evening of, why aren't I doing that? Why aren't I doing these really simple but really powerful practices? So yeah. Thank you so much. I haven't seen you in a while. Great to
Yes,
see
thank
everyone.
you. See you very soon.
Well, yeah, very soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
thank you, everyone. We need to go now. But I would say that, well, everything has been said. Just that take good care of yourself. And if you resonated with anything tonight, just practice it and let us know how you do. We have the community, so share in the community, please. I'm very, very interested to know how has it been. Jen, do you want to say something? I see you. No, you're just going to bed, yeah? Okay, lots of love and sweet dreams, everyone. Thank you for tonight. Bye bye.